Looks like we're recording, so let's get into it. My name is Nestor. I'm the listing agent for this property here at 425 Ashe Cabin Hollow Road in Harriman, Tennessee, 37748 of Roane County. And we're going to take a deep dive on this property again today because we're at day 5 of the listing. We've dropped the price from $400,000 down to $377,000. We've added more images to the photo gallery, and I want to educate you, the potential buying public, on all of the potential that this property has and all of the extensive improvements that the current owners have done. And yeah, let's talk about it. It's also a really cool location, so we're going to talk about all these different features. But let's just start out with the photo gallery. Since there was a huge expansion of images in the publicly accessible photo gallery, the MLS that this property is inserted in and distributed from onto thousands of other sites is called East Tennessee Realtors. And that MLS has a limit of 60 images. There will be some drone videos and some other videos that will be added into this listing in the coming days and weeks ahead, but for now, this is where we're at. So this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that has the potential to be converted to a 4 or 5-bedroom with 3 baths. So I want you to really keep that in mind as you look at this photo gallery. Additionally, it's estimated at 2,088 square feet. That estimate comes from a system called MLS Tax Suite and CRS data. I haven't actually measured and verified, but in the coming days and weeks ahead at some point, I'm going to be doing some measuring because I'm actually wondering if maybe it's more than that. But we shall see. Additionally, this is listed as a 7.75 acre property. However, you'll see in one of these images that another record says it's 7.99 acres. So really cool property, really cool location. Let's look at this photo gallery and take a deep dive. Also, we might not get into this section today, but if you scroll down, you see the section that says property details and show more. If you click that show more, I have provided an abundance of detail here. We have maxed out the character limit. It will not let me add anything else. I also have been very considerate to notify the buying public at the top here the last date and timestamp in which I modified that data. So if I try to add more typed detail to that section in the future, I will be going through all this and looking for ways to abbreviate and shorten so that I can free up some more character space. All right, let's look at the photo gallery because visuals are the easiest way to learn about a property and its potential. So this first image here, this shows the home from the left side, and it looks kind of small, but it's 2 levels. It's a walkout basement. It's so much bigger than it looks in this picture. It's amazing how deceiving images can be at times. We're going to see more of the other sides of the house here shortly. This is the shape of the overall parcel, the 7.75 acres. And you can see that this is vast. This is 1,004 feet on the northern border. Okay. The cleared section, I want you to keep in mind as we're looking at the photo gallery, is just a very small portion of the property. There's a ton of acreage that branches off to the back and also to the back right. If you're walking from the road towards the back of the property and you point forward and you point off to your right, huge expansion of acreage there. What the land does in this back section here is it rises up to a peak and it has a rolling topography which is hikeable. The seller says it's a beautiful hike with some pretty neat views at the top. I think it would be awesome to cut in multiple hiking trails, just kind of spider webbing up to different sections of the back there, and then maybe put maybe like little hunting sheds or little hunting tiny houses, whatever you can get permitted and approved. Quick note, I have in writing from the zoning department some pretty cool things about the potential here for exploring 2 structures per every acre. Okay, so again, anything that you build is contingent upon permitting and this, that, and the other, all those steps and processes, right? But depending on how property is zoned and what the rules are in that particular section of the town, the county, or the community. This is county zone, so you only pay county taxes, no city taxes here, and they're very cheap. But you know, you're always have to follow those. You're always going to have to follow those permitting processes, but you have the ability to attempt certain things. Whereas in other properties, you might not even have the ability to attempt that. You see what I'm saying? So if you have any questions about that, just let me know. I can explain it some more. Sorry if during this video I'm speaking very quickly. I have a lot of information to cover very quickly. I'm trying to keep this video length as short as possible. This diagram shows a pin for where the property is at in relation to these branching sections of waterway. These are some of the most popular and beautiful sections of waterway in the eastern half of the state of Tennessee. It's also quick and proximal to get to Kingston, Midtown, Rockwood, Farragut, Lenoir City. You're in Harriman. Here's Blue Springs Marina. Down here is Uchee Marina. There's Rockwood Marina. There's Caney Creek Marina. Just tons of, there's marinas all along here. So you've got this amazing location at the tip of these branching popular waterways, which makes the property great for primary residence and enjoyment, but also for maybe a second home or a vacation home or a long-term rental or a short-term rental Airbnb VRBO business model. Okay. So this shows you with these red pins and these gray pins, some of the water access areas and marinas, but not all, just some. This is a little closer up image. Over here, there's actually two HVAC systems, and you can't see that in that image, but if you visit the property now, you can see that. One of those is dedicated to the main level. The other one, if I remember and understand correctly, is dedicated to the basement level. The new one for the main level was also redesigned. All the ductwork is now in the ceiling instead of in the floor. And it's only been there for a year. And it was on. It's still on. So when you go visit the property in the summer and you're doing your showing, you can be nice and cool. There's a new thermostat for it as well. The seller is open to offers, which are contingent upon having absolutely anything inspected that you desire. Okay. Let's see here. This is a picture of the driveway looking up towards the house, maybe early spring, maybe part of fall. This is kind of standing under, so the back deck is kind of like a double decker. There's a top part and there's an underneath part where you can hang out. You could maybe consider putting a swing set underneath there, but this image was taken from the perspective of standing under that double decker deck and looking back towards the backyard. This is the same, standing in the same spot after a snow in the winter. You can see the sun over here. Let's see. Also, this is standing in a different spot, looking towards the backyard. This is a 4-section kind of carport area. There's 3 main sections that maybe you could fit a car under, and then there's actually a 4th section, which I think was added on later. It's not showing in this image, but you'll see it in one of our other images, I think, maybe. I have an image of it. I don't know if it fit in this limit of 60 today. But there's actually 4 sections there, and that 4th section has like a metallic caged section. So I guess maybe you could, you know, you could maybe have a pet in there or something if you needed to for a brief period of time. Yeah, there you can see part of it there. This is just another picture on a beautiful day in the winter. You can see how the land rolls up at the back. Okay. And that is your land back there. This is the shape of the parcel. So that's looking back here at this land that rolls upwards at the back. This is a closer image of that yellow pin image we discussed earlier, showing proximity. See Farragut, Lenoir City, Midway, Blue Springs, Uchee, Spring City, Eagle Point, Rockwood. You're in Harriman, Kingston, Hardin Valley. Okay. I feel like I'm starting to get teacher voice, y'all. All right, so there's again a bunch of the marinas, and you're right about here, close to where it says Harriman. So all this you're so close to and proximal to. This shows the topography lines in gray. It shows the property line in green. The dashed yellow lines, don't let those confuse you. Those are typically dashed yellow lines indicate where historically someone had drawn up and considered some alternate division lines and then abandoned that plan and never went through with it or eliminated it. If you want verification of that, I can provide it to you, no big deal. This shows a creek line that's near the road. This shows confirmation of Starlink internet speeds, also T-Mobile. This is looking at the road. This is the driveway entrance here. There's the culvert for the creek. Again, at a slightly different angle. And then looking up towards the house that's hidden in the trees. This demonstrates proximity to Roane County Waterfront Park, which is a massive waterfront park, and other beautiful things that you can visit that are very close nearby. Also, this demonstrates proximity to Roane County Hospital, Covenant Health, Kroger, Lowe's, and much more. I absolutely love the grounds for Roane County Hospital, and both the building interior, exterior are beautiful, clean, well designed. It's a very special place, and the staff there are phenomenal. Let's see here. This is an overview of Kingston City Park on the lake, which connects to about I think it's roughly 3 mile or maybe more, the Betty Brown Memorial Walking Trail that borders the lake. It is extensive. It is so beautiful. Really cool place. There's fishing tournaments here sometimes. Lots of fishing tournaments all throughout Roane County that launch at many different water access areas. This huge peninsula-like shape encapsulates massive Roane County Park. It's full of trails and playgrounds and piers and docks and just all these different cool things. Over here is the Caney Creek RV Resort. It's very nice. This is the Caney Creek Marina with boat rental. That's going to be the closest place that you can rent a boat if you come into town to visit and you have not purchased a boat yet. Or maybe you're buying the house to rent out as Airbnb and you want to make sure that your folks staying know exactly where they can rent a boat nearby. This shows proximity of the property to the new large workout anytime facility. It's got 24-hour access, massage chairs, sauna, tanning beds, yoga rooms, and so much more. Phenomenal selection of workout equipment there and free weights. You're also very close to the Roane State Community College grounds and the new TCAT grounds, which launch and open in August. They are beautiful. I've visited there recently. This also shows you how close you are to the brand new Rockwood Marina. This was a multi-million-dollar project. It's beautiful. It's very, very, very nice. It's also proximal to the massive Tom Fuller Memorial Waterfront Park. Just ample opportunity to enjoy the beauty and access more sections of waterway. This diagram, all of the highlighted orange areas are wildlife management areas. So I circled or ellipsed rather the name, but it's an expansive area that has many different pieces. Okay, I was just trying to help people to see the name of it there. These darkened sections that say TVA, those are public TVA lands. They also have, all these different lands have different rules, and you can look those up either through the TWRA website, the TVA website, or a website called eregulations.com. This informs people about videos we have of the interior walkthroughs. This is looking out of the living room window. You can see the front porch slash deck. You can see the front yard. And you can also see how private it is. You can't really see the road. You can see a little peak of some grassy hill across the street, but it's very private. There's part of the driveway right there. For this next image, we're looking at the view out of the kitchen sink window. You can see the back deck. You can see the backyard. It's very pretty. It's very private. Actually, I'm going to talk about this just a little bit longer. As a woman especially, I really love knowing that when I'm working at my sink, especially when I had a young child, to be able to watch them play in the backyard while I'm washing a dish or whatever is just such a really cool feature to have. Okay, so the basement I am completely obsessed with on this property. First, you might notice there's kind of like some staining and things. We're going to get that cleaned up over the coming days and weeks ahead. The seller is going to be leaving town soon, and might be getting some of that done before he leaves. But what's not done of that, I'm going to be visiting the property probably for at least a 1-hour block weekly. And I'm going to be down there with like soap and water and a big scrubbing bristle brush. And I want to just make that basement floor shine. I figure it'll just replace my workout the day that I do that each week. So no big deal there. And I just get to enjoy that beautiful yard. Open up that basement and look at the view and air it out and just enjoy its beauty. That's one of the cool things about being a real estate agent. You get to go enjoy these beautiful pieces of land and these beautiful places. This home just has such a like positive, loving energy, and that might sound kind of cheesy to say, but the history of the property is really beautiful. The prior owners to the current owners were the husband was retired military, and he and his wife lived there together, as the story goes. There's a big flagpole with an American flag in the front yard that gentleman installed when they lived there. And you can just kind of imagine them, sharing this place together, this special place of peace and privacy and nature. And there's just good vibes there. Sometimes you just go there and the place just has good vibes. It totally has that. So part of the reason I'm obsessed with this basement, and you're about to see several pictures of it from different angles, is because it's potential. Personally, what I would attempt to do here is convert it into either a master bedroom and a bathroom, a luxury bathroom, or 2 more bedrooms and a luxury bathroom. And I feel like this would be pretty easy to do. For one thing, you can't really tell this by looking at the image, but when I'm 5'10", I'm very tall. When I'm standing down there in the basement and I have my shoes on and I'm 5'10" barefoot and I have long arms and I reach my hands up and I try to reach up to touch what's overhead, I cannot reach what's above my head. There's a lot of height there in that basement. And so there's just so much opportunity to turn this very quickly just with some finish work, just some finish work with some sheetrock and some flooring, boom. And you take this house from being a 3-bedroom, 2-bath to 5-bedroom, 3-bath, or 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Additionally, there's already 2 windows here. This one on the right, you can see very well. This one on the left, it's just got like a screen or something that's just been set and the windowsill is leaning. It's not hurting anything. There's nothing like wrong. It's just something was placed there in a hurry. And so it's kind of hiding it. But there's 2 windows there. They're placed in a really symmetrical way that's very pleasing to look at. Then you have this massive garage door space that I personally would convert into a large sliding glass window style situation, or maybe just big opening double glass doors, something that looks really elevated and regal, and big windows just letting all that natural light pour in. Because when you look out that space, you see all the beauty of that gorgeous backyard. But wait, there's more. Oh, also, the staircase is just perfectly placed to do this. You could turn the space under the stairs into a storage space. I mean, it's just, this has just got so much potential. So from a different angle here, there's the garage door, and you can see there's also a door to walk out. So you could have like a door exterior that comes in. You could have a master bathroom here because all the plumbing stuff is right here in this corner. And then from this point over, put a big bedroom or two more bedrooms. And the staircase is right here behind this spot here. This hot tub, I assume, is movable. And so it would not have to stay there, or you could keep it, or you could put something nicer, or whatever it might be. Maybe you put that one outside. Maybe you put something nicer inside. Who knows? There's a close-up of that door. Looks like someone had kind of started to do some painting work and then just got busy working on more important other tasks. But the door is solid structurally. It's sound. It seals well. It locks. This is looking at the staircase, and this is something else that either the seller or I might clean in the coming days and weeks ahead. I'm just going to get a bucket and some soapy water and just give it some TLC, some love, some elbow grease, scrub it, and try to get those stairs just looking a little extra spiffed up again. But structurally, they're great. They look pleasing to the eye, and they're ready to just hit the ground running with whatever you envision. This is the water tank, the hot water heater, and this is part of a well system that was electric and hooked up to the historic well that's there. It's not currently hooked up. The house is totally hooked up to the public water system, but it's super cool to be able to hook up to a well and then have that also. So you could get somebody out there to do an analysis and a quote on what it would take, but that's in the back corner of the basement level. This is the exterior image of that basement garage door, and you can see just how nice and flat this exit area is here. There's some stonework there. So again, with that beautiful brick surrounding it, putting in the big double sliding glass doors, it would be so beautiful. There's a close-up of the interior version. This is a closer picture of the right basement window, and there's some stuff on the shelf that's kind of blocking it. There's some stuff sitting in the windowsill that's kind of blocking it, but it's there and it's in good repair and in reasonable working condition. You can see out that window, you just have a wooded private view. This is standing outside the home, walking towards the right side of the home and capturing those two basement windows that we were just discussing. So that's those windows there, and there's a lot of yard space that's cleared on the side to walk around or to garden or put a little stone trail and maybe a garden around the house. You can see in the past there were some different gardening things attempted. So the brick is really pretty. I really love the brick on this house, but the yard is just to die for. I love this yard. I would buy this house if I could right now, but I'm not in the position to. I would buy it. I would max out the number of structures that zoning would let me do. I would put those strategically placed around the perimeter of the backyard and then maybe up into the woods. I'd probably put in a massive, massive pool with a deep end and a high dive. There's my unlimited imaginary budget. This is one of the stickers on the Energy Star windows. The main level of the home has all new Energy Star windows. And again, the seller is open to offers that include contingencies for inspections of literally anything related to the property. He's so helpful. He's so wonderful. He's so reasonable. He's just a wonderful person to work for. All over the property, you're going to see cameras of different shapes and sizes. This property is being very well surveilled. The surveillance system is protecting the property, keeping it secure. It is controlled and monitored remotely. So the seller has the ability to check and monitor those cameras at all times. It's a great quality system. I think there might actually be more than one type of camera and type of system there, but it's just great. When you're there, you feel safe, and he gets to make sure that your potential asset stays in excellent condition between the time that you put it under contract and the time that you bring it to close. So I just love that. This is a peek inside the old hot tub that's there. I think he might have said, I don't think they've ever actually used it. It was there. It would belong to the previous owners, I think. So, not really sure, like, if it needs maintenancing or anything like that, but it is there to explore. It conveys with the sale of the home. This is a picture of the well with the top cinder block removed so that you can kind of see what's down in here. You can see some electrical stuff. You can see some other things. And this used to be hooked up to power and I think like some sort of well pump, and then controlled back at the house. So really cool to see that this was in place, this was used. If you want me to give you contact information for a list of well technicians, I can. This image shows you how to find the well. So you see that little stack of cinder block, that's where the well is, and that top cinder block is protecting the upper portion of it to make sure it's not hit or damaged by anything like vehicles or mowers. Over here, you see this kind of like wooden structure where there used to be a little swing. You can drive up the driveway. You see the house to the right. You see the multi-carport on the left. And then just after that on the left is where you will locate these two items. The next few images we're going to look at are looking at the open floor plan space that connects the living room and the kitchen area. This is as most people know, a very popular type of feature to have the kitchen and the living room open and connected because it's the heart of the home. It's where families spend most of their time, and you've got a big window for the living room, a window for the kitchen, a double door window style for the kitchen side as well. So you can see the beauty of the front yard. You can see what's happening on the back deck. You can see what's happening in the backyard. It's really great for just the enjoyment of the beauty, or for feeling connected to the front yard, backyard, kitchen, and living room all at the same time. Keeping an eye on the kids if you've got young ones running around in the yard. It's just a really awesome floor plan. Then the rooms branch off in both the left and the right direction from this space, okay? Brand new front door. Again, this is a new window here. You can see the new thermostat is right here. The AC is on, so you can schedule a showing and adjust that and make sure you feel nice and cool and get out of that summer heat while you're visiting. These old floor vents are no longer the source of the HVAC. The whole HVAC system has been completely redone for the main level of the home. It has its own dedicated system. It's only 1 year old, and that is now run through the ceiling. So anywhere through the main level of the house where you see what looks like the remnant of a floor vent, that just needs to be sealed off permanently. It's no longer what you're relying on, which I absolutely love that he did this. You can also see that he installed new sheetrock and insulation, and you can see that these inlay lightings have been installed, and I love that as well. I just think they're such a nice touch. This is that same space, but from a different angle. You can see the old refrigerator and stove. You can see the kitchen area there. There's some sections of wall that are not complete, and when you look at the parts of the house, when you come for a tour, any section of the house that incorporates plumbing, it's not completely done with the sheetrock because the seller is at a point where, well, if he finishes that, it might not be the way you want it, depending on what fixtures you choose, depending on how you place and design your fixtures, depending on how you decide to place your mirrors or your decor. He thought, let's leave it like it is and let the buyer, decide how that's going to go. Otherwise, you're just going to be tearing out sheetrock and having to redo it. So it's at a stage where it's perfect for you to customize all the sections that encapsulate plumbing, okay? The floors, of course, need done. Most of the main level, the floor looks like this section here. Hopefully this screen recording is capturing my mouse movement. This kitchen section over here, I'm not sure if you'd pull that up or just cover that up. I guess that just depends on whatever the buyer decides and whatever their contractor recommends. But most of it looks more like this, where it's just bare and like totally ready to go. Trying to think what else. Oh, over here, I think might be this little pantry area. This is that same space from a different angle. There was a piece of sheetrock leaning kind of in front of the window here in this image, but this is the living room window. And there you can see there's like the kitchen items and the back windows and doors. This is that little pantry space that is to the right of the blue bordered doors. Any building materials that you see in any room when visiting, those are all included and convey with the sale. There is a huge pile of sheetrock, there's a bunch of wood, there's all kinds of stuff. All the covers for these vents have been purchased. They're also there. They're white. They're very pretty. They have a nice look. This is a different angle of the kitchen living room space. Just trying to really show people just how big this space is and how open it really feels. Imagine it with beautiful floors and all the finished work done. You're basically just needing to put in your flooring, select your paint color, select your trim color. And if you're a DIY, then you do it yourself. If you're not and you want to hire a crew and snap it out in a day, you snap it out in a day or two. This is a closer view of those back doors, looking out to the back deck, looking out over the backyard. This is a brand new front door that's been installed. This is the brand new thermostat, and again, which accompanies brand new ventilation system and HVAC system. Brand new electrical panel. This is in the basement. Brand new exterior lighting. The siding is also new as well. I have the listing. We might even look at it if there's time. I have the listing to where the house and property looked before the current owners purchased it. The current owners purchased it around 2022. So that you can see what the interior looked like before they did all these modifications and modernization and upgrades and improvements. Might not have time to display that today, but if you'd like it, the MLS number for those is in the bottom of the description area. So, but just let me know and I can send it to you in an email or a text. This is where I walked almost to the back of the cleared space in the backyard and just snapped a picture back here. Is real pretty. It really shows you just how vast and flat that space is. It was just recently mowed and bush hogged. This is kind of standing where I walked to the right of the house and then came around to the backyard from that angle. You can see this 4-section carport. It's really a 3-section carport with what looks like an animal or a cage or a locked section over here where maybe if you got to lock some stuff that you don't want tampered with. But there's power run to this. There's also power on this pole here. There's some cute little steps that kind of just come up that section of hill there. I just imagine that being kind of beautified and maybe planting flowers along this section of hill here, doing something really pretty with maybe some stonework and some florals that would just encapsulate that little staircase and make it very cute, very decorative. We've taken down these curtains, so those are gone. There's a brush pile from after the lawn people came out and did the bush hogging. That's going to be burned and gone. So probably by the time you go visit the property, that's not going to be there. It's just going to be a little ash pile. Some other things are going to be kind of tidied up. The property owner has made arrangements with someone to keep up the mowing and the trimming while he is gone. Again, he's moving in just a few days. This is the staircase to the back porch, and it makes the porch area look small, but keep in mind, this is a double decker, so there's a second level to this underneath, and you can go underneath there. But this is the back porch area where you go into the kitchen, living room space here, and that new lighting and that new window. These are a couple of propane tanks that convey with the property. The interior rooms all have these solid wood doors installed. This is a close-up of the center portion of the 3 carport with the extra fourth like animal area on the end. This is the center part here. You can see that there's power run to this. So there's, you can plug things in, and there's a little bug zapper and some lighting and things, some outlets. This is a picture taken on a section of the 3 or so mile trail that connects Kingston City Park to Gravel Pit Park to 58 Landing Park to the historic fort site. And this is a drive of maybe, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes away. The fireworks are done every year here for July 4th. There's tons of water access points all along that park and those series of connected parks there. So we're at image 60 here. The length of this video is approaching 40 minutes. I think that's all I'm going to do for today. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about this property. If you are interested, contact me by text at 865-617-4783. Send me your name, what questions you have, how I can help, and we will just hit the ground running with your goals. Thanks so much, and see you next time.